Time now for my political panel, Liberal MP Jason Falinski and Labor MP Josh Burns, both of them in lockdown. Jason Falinski, you first.
Yes, Josh deserves lockdown.
Yeah, well, Josh is an expert in it. Jason, why did it take so long for the Prime Minister to apologise? I mean, it's really important, isn't it, to take responsibility and say sorry, because this is way behind schedule.
Yeah, it is. He's done it. We need to move on and get it back on schedule. And I think that's what we're doing.
But it's not going to be back on schedule, right? Because if you're under 40, you have to wait for a couple of months before you can get your Pfizer jab.
Yeah, that's true. So under the original plan, we were meant to be finished this by, well, everyone would have had the opportunity to have a vaccination by the end of October. The way things are now panning out, it'll be the end of December. Look, as your previous guest was pointing out, there have been a lot of unforeseen problems with this. It's not to bemoan that. It's our job to get on with it now, get vaccines in people's arms, and anyone who wants to have a vaccine can have it by the end of the year so we can get back to normal.
Can you see why people are so annoyed, though?
Patricia, I'm annoyed. I'm one of those people. So yeah, I can fully understand why people are annoyed. And,
so
and when you add,
are you annoyed at the Morrison government, thinking, why don't you fix this? I need a jab.
Oh. Well, look, I'm annoyed with myself. You know, why didn't we see all of this coming? Why didn't we see Atagi changing its advice? Why didn't we see the Italians not delivering? Why didn't we see all the sort of stuff that's happened? But the fact of the matter is we didn't. We can't keep talking about that, though I'm sure we will. I'm sure Josh will spend some of his time on his answer talking about it. The issue is for us to get on with it. And when I talk to people who are like going out of business because of lockdowns in Sydney, my focus is on getting us out of lockdowns permanently so we can get back to life as normal.
Which means we need to get vaccinated, Josh, right? Like that's a no-brainer.
It is, PK, and I agree with Jason. The vaccine rollout's been an absolute disaster. But what we need to focus on now is what we do now. And PK, businesses are absolutely devastated. People are devastated by these lockdowns. These lockdowns are really, really hard. And the way we get out of them is by vaccinations. And I think instead of just hearing the Prime Minister sort of play the politics of the day, what we really need to hear is the plan. What is the timeline? When are people under 40 going to be accessing the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines? When are they going to be able to book in the vaccines? When are people going to be able to have access to this? When are people under 30? What's the timing that people should be able to expect for themselves to be able to get these vaccines? And we're not hearing any of those leadership. When we did have targets, the Prime Minister didn't meet them and then said, we're just going to throw targets away. I think we need to bring back targets and have a plan to get out of this.
OK, how about that, Jason Falinski? Bring back targets, try and actually, hold your own selves to account to deliver here.
Yeah, so our target is to have everyone, because there will be some people who don't want to get vaccinated. But everyone will have a chance to have been vaccinated by the end of the year. That's the target we're holding to. We're rolling this out with chemists, GP networks. The states have their hospitals and vaccine hubs underway as well. We'll continue to roll it out to people in younger age groups, and we'll make sure that anyone who has a choice of vaccine. So if you want AZ, you can have it. If you want Pfizer, you can have that too. That's our target, and that's what we're aiming at.
Okay. Is that acceptable? That Josh, he's articulated where he wants to get to?
It's very vague, PK, and, if you ask businesses, can they survive in New South Wales in a lockdown until, the end of the year or somewhere in the end of the year where people are going to be able to have access to the vaccine, then I think people will be pretty shocked. So I think we need to do better than just sort of a vague end of the year style answer to that. What we need are targets. When are people under 40 going to have access? If we know how many vaccines are landing in this country, then we know how many people are going to be able to be delivered the vaccine each week. At the moment, we're averaging about 1 million vaccines a week, which at this rate would mean that we would need probably until about February next year to get Australia vaccinated, or at least to have the majority of people in Australia vaccinated. That's too long. We need to be doing this as quickly as possible, and I think we should still be aiming for October, to be able to get vaccines done as quickly as possible.
Just finally, what did you make, starting with you if I can, Jason, what did you make of the AOC boss, John Coates, ordering the Queensland Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk to attend Friday night's opening ceremony in Tokyo? He says he's been misrepresented in a statement, but I watched it all and was excruciating.
Yeah. Look, I have to say I saw a replay of it and I did kind of wince a bit. He has said since then he was joking. As someone who's told his fair share of bad jokes, I'm not going to criticise anyone for that. But yeah, it didn't look good, is how I'd put it.
Yeah, very not funny if it's a joke.
Yeah.
What did you think, Josh? Should he be apologising rather than spinning?
Yeah, he absolutely should apologise. I'm not quite sure who Mr. Coates thinks he is, but bullying the Premier of Queensland in that way is not appropriate, and nor is it fitting of the office of the Australian Olympic Committee that he holds. And I think that for everyone, he should just apologise and we could move on. It is a great thing that we've got the Olympics, and well done to Anastasia Palaszczuk and the Prime Minister and the whole team to get the Olympics. It's going to be great. I remember it being in Sydney and it was really exciting, and I hope to be able to go up to Brisbane for it. But that sort of behaviour doesn't reflect well on the Australian Olympic Committee, and I would have thought that the best thing for Mr. Coates to do is apologise, because in this day and age, and in any day and age, that sort of behaviour is unacceptable.
What do you think, Jason? I mean, you said it wasn't a good look, but should he just apologise?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, he should just say, look, I think what he said today is that he was trying to be funny and it didn't come. Well, just say, look, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to offend anyone. And I agree with Josh. It wasn't a good look, and it's not also setting a good example for other people. I mean, it's not just the Premier of Queensland who shouldn't be treated that. No one should be treated that way, especially in public. So, yes, I agree. He should apologise.
Yeah, I was actually stunned by how polite she was. I thought, would I have been as polite? And I wasn't sure if I would have been capable of that level of politeness. Look, it's time to end the panel.
I think you're very polite, PK.
Thank
for the
you.
record.
I do try. I think that would.
And I also think, PK, that
me.
Jason has told his fair share of bad jokes as well. I think that's also fair. So.
And I think it's fair for you to take some responsibility, Josh. Have you told any bad jokes?
Plenty. Some may say that I'm doing it right now, PK.
I will not fact check that. Thank you for joining us on the show. Liberal MP Jason Falinski and Labor MP Josh Burns. Probably the most exciting thing that's happened to them all day, that interview, because they're both in lockdown.